There's now a new way for UK investors to get exposure to Bitcoin in a tax-efficient investment account, like your SIPP or your ISA. Unfortunately, we still can't buy Bitcoin itself, and Bitcoin ETFs and ETNs, while possibly coming soon, aren't available yet either for retail investors. But what we do have is the UK's first ever Bitcoin Treasury company, and since its IPO just over a month ago, the price has skyrocketed 100 times its IPO price. So in this video, I'm going to break down the history of this company, how it's managed to achieve such success so quickly, and what its future may look like going forward, to try and work out if it's a worthy Bitcoin proxy investment. Before we do though, this video is intended for information and entertainment purposes only. It should not be considered financial advice. Any reference to financial products, investments, or services are general opinions and are not tailored to your personal circumstances. When investing, your capital is at risk, and you may lose some or all of your investment. Past performance does not guarantee future results, so please always do your own research. But with all of that out of the way, let's get into it. So first, some context. The company we're talking about today is called the Smarter Web Company, founded by Andrew Webley in 2009. Historically, this is a profitable business offering web design and marketing services. But in 2023, following Andrew's personal frustration at not being able to invest in any UK listed company with Bitcoin exposure, he decided he had to do it himself. Now, alongside their traditional business, they've IPO'd on the Aquis Exchange under the ticker SWC and launching a Bitcoin buying strategy, acquiring Bitcoin for the company's balance sheet to offer investors direct exposure to Bitcoin's price volatility within traditional markets. This is very similar to what Michael Saylor pioneered in 2020 with his US company MicroStrategy, now called Strategy, which currently holds over 500,000 Bitcoin and about 2.7% of the total supply. Over time, Strategy stock has remained highly correlated with Bitcoin's price, giving investors exposure through traditional tax-efficient accounts like ISAs and SIPPs in the UK, where profits are exempt from capital gains tax. But now, for the first time ever, we have a UK native company offering a similar vehicle. So since the IPO on the 25th of April 2025, when the shares listed at 2.5p, the price has exploded to over £3.40 per share at the time of recording this. And that equates to more than a 100x return for IPO investors. In this time, they've become the largest company by market cap on the entire Aquis Exchange. They are the best performing equity across the UK right now. Plus, a brand new community is rapidly growing on X with over 2,000 members already. What this company has done in such a short time is honestly staggering, and it suggests serious demand for Bitcoin exposure across the UK, despite the hostile regulatory conditions we've become used to. But you might be wondering, what factors have led to this insane success? Well, first is their fast accumulation of Bitcoin. Since their listing and announcing their 10-year plan to accumulate Bitcoin, they've become the fastest Bitcoin treasury company in the world to grow their position. Andrew even said in a recent interview that he wants to reach 1,000 Bitcoin in under 6 months, which would beat what Metaplanet managed to achieve in Japan. And for context, Metaplanet were the best performing stock in the world in 2024. Now, a key metric to understand this and measure it is something called days to cover MNAV, or multiple to net asset value. This shows how quickly the company is able to convert the share price premium into Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And right now, SWC's days to cover is among the lowest at 43 days. And investors seem to love this stat. I think another major factor is their retail-focused funding model, using Winterflood Retail Access Platform, commonly known as WRAPs. These offers let individuals directly invest and fund the Bitcoin buying strategy in exchange for new shares. There is a limit on how much they can raise with this method, and currently they have maxed out how much capital they can raise in this way, but most of the offerings were oversubscribed, just showing the demand. Personally, I feel this direct link to retail investors has built trust in the community, which is something larger corporate treasury companies can struggle with. The Smarter Web Company also had one massive advantage, being the first mover in the UK. Up until their IPO, UK investors could buy US listed companies like Strategy, but having a company listed on a UK exchange could make it easier, cheaper, and more accessible for some. On top of that, certain larger UK managed funds have geographical restrictions on where they can invest their money, meaning SWC has potentially tapped into a new capital market that couldn't otherwise access Bitcoin Treasury companies which were trading overseas. Plus, in this short space of time, they've also secured an OTC or over-the-counter US listing, opening the door to US capital to pile into this stock. And already the US trading volume has overtaken that of the UK's. Finally, there's Andrew Webley himself. He seems to be a really genuine person with immense modesty, who is trying, and I would say succeeding, to do the best job he can. His bullishness and total conviction in Bitcoin is one of the huge selling points. In his own words, he doesn't want to be half-arsed about it. He fully believes in this asset, and investors seem to be excited to back this kind of leadership. So with all of this success so far, what's the case for new investors, and what potential risks should you watch out for? Well, first is their accumulation speed. As long as they keep up this record pace, I think the future looks bright. But as they grow, one of the risks I see is that the fast accumulation could get tougher, as they'll need to attain much larger investments to buy Bitcoin as the company grows. This week, they've also announced a new agreement where they can issue 21 million new shares as a way to raise capital and add more Bitcoin to the balance sheet. If they can keep up though, there are some amazing possibilities on the horizon, with the potential of listing on the London Stock Exchange. This would unlock major pools of capital that currently can't access Aquis, as many brokerages simply don't support them. And following this, they could even be lined up for a FTSE index inclusion. And based on their current market cap alone, they would already qualify for the FTSE 250. And David Bailey, CEO of Bitcoin Inc., has made it his mission to get this company included in the FTSE 100. If this happens, huge passive capital flows could follow. But even if it is possible, this would take time. Another risk that I see is new competition popping up that could be faster at accumulating Bitcoin than SWC and draw capital away from this stock. With that, Coincilium Group recently launched their own Bitcoin Treasury company called Forza, trading on the same Aquis exchange with a very similar strategy. And so far, they have had days where their stock Coin has outperformed SWC. The momentum right now is sky high for SWC and many of these other new Bitcoin Treasury companies. But the harsh reality is that no stock rockets forever, and volatility always goes both ways. If a significant drawdown happens, which I think is incredibly likely, considering the recent growth of all of these stocks, I think this could damage the market sentiment, especially if a lot of new investors come in at the top and panic when the price drops, causing a huge sell-off. And from the sentiment that I'm seeing on X, it seems that many investors are going all in on this stock, and that could be brutal if the stock pulls back. As well as this, one of my biggest concerns is its valuation. SWC is currently trading at an MNAV of between 9 and 14 times its assets, which to me feels really expensive. Strategy, for comparison, sits at around 1.7 times, and they use very clever low-risk leverage as part of their Bitcoin accumulation strategy. They're also building new financial products to attract big pools of capital, like their new fixed income offerings Strike, Strife, and Stride, which all should support the price appreciation of MSTR stock. To my knowledge though, SWC and similar new companies aren't leveraged, which suggests their MNAV should naturally compress closer to 1 over time. To me that means either a falling share price or a massive capital raise to balance it out and add more Bitcoin to its balance sheet. So with all of that in mind, what should you do as an investor? Well, obviously, first and foremost, it all comes down to your personal opinion and how you analyse the stock. For me though, this is a momentum trade right now. I am super bullish and excited to see how the next 6 months play out, but I'm also wary of the risks and have some concerns if we do start entering a bear market in Bitcoin. That said though, if you can handle the volatility, I think it could be a great opportunity. It's already made a lot of people significant gains, and it could keep going with more positive catalysts on the horizon. But right now, SWC doesn't offer correlated exposure to Bitcoin's price action. And if that's all you're looking for in your investment ISA or SIPP, I'd honestly look elsewhere. For me, MSTR or Strategy is my preferred stock for Bitcoin exposure, with its strong historical correlation and slight outperformance when priced in Bitcoin terms, which you can see here on this chart. So if the line was flat, that would be a 1-to-1 correlation. And when the line trends up, that's outperforming Bitcoin. So here's SWC for comparison. But like I said, as with anything in financial markets, you have to do your own research and come to your own conclusions. So with all of that in mind, I'll leave links down below in the description to resources that I've referenced in this video, and you can start learning about this stock and coming to your own conclusions. But I'm afraid that covers everything for today. If you found the video helpful, please smash that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button for more Bitcoin related content, and let me know your thoughts on the Smarter Web company down below in the comments, and whether you've taken a position or not. Now, if you've got money locked away in a workplace pension scheme and you want to know how to access it so that you can start investing it yourself, I'll leave a link on screen now to my video breaking down exactly how you can do that. But with all that being said, take it easy and enjoy the rest of your day.